Pleasant day to everyone. For today's lesson, for your second grading period in PE 8, you're going to learn about team sports. But specifically, we're going to take up about volleyball. So, team sports. Since sports has reshaped the way people interact with one another, it teaches about discipline, camaraderie, and sportsmanship. All these benefits help build people's character and develop their relationship with one another. Sports is popular in the Philippines because Filipinos simply enjoy playing these sports to have fun watching how athletes compete. There are 5 major team sports in the country, and those are baseball, softball, football, soccer, basketball, and volleyball. Playing team sports develops friendship and promotes learning from each other's mistakes among the members of every team. They learn how to accept defeat and knowledge that the other team is better than them, so they are challenged. Players learn firsthand on how to achieve success through hard work. Let's talk about volleyball. First, the history of volleyball. Volleyball was invented by William G. Morgan, February 9, 1895. It was first known as Mintonet, and the game derived from tennis and handball, and this game was designed to be a combination of basketball, baseball, tennis, and handball. The first volleyball net was borrowed from tennis, and that was only 6 by 6 inches high. The offensive style of setting and spiking was first demonstrated in the Philippines in 1916. Over the years that followed, it became clear that standard rules were needed for tournament play, and thus the USVBA, or United States Volleyball Association, was formed in 1928. How to play volleyball, or the basic things to know before playing volleyball. How to play? First, you need to know that you need to achieve the score of 25 points first. Points are scored by winning the rally. One way to win the rally is by spiking the ball to the floor of the opponent's court. There are many other ways to win the rally. Here are some. We have hitting the ball off the opponent in the way that the ball isn't retrievable. The opponent not being able to return a spiked ball across the net successfully. The opponent volleyball spiking the ball out of bounds. Serving the ball so tough so it can't be returned. Okay, for the equipments used in volleyball, we have first your ball, and this ball is made of a mixture of leather and rubber. It has a circumference of 65 to 67 centimeters and weighs 260 to 280 grams. In terms of the net and pole, according to the FIVB, the net should be placed vertically over the center line, whose top is set at the height of 2.43 meters for men and 2.24 meters for women. Its height is measured from the center of the playing court. It is 1 meter wide and 1.50 to 10 meters long, with 25 to 50 centimeters on each side of the side bounds. It is made of 10 centimeter square black mesh. Okay. And for our court dimension, the volleyball court is rectangular in shape with an area of 18 by 9 meters. The court is divided by the net, a center line preventing the opposing teams to cross to the other side. There are attack lines or areas in each court which prohibit back row players to jump and hit the ball near the net. Only the front row players are allowed to do this. We have basic skills in volleyball, and the basic skills of volleyball are service, passing, spiking, and blocking. Learning these skills require a lot of training. However, volleyball is a lot easier to play than basketball. It is also less physical contact, and with your opponent is very minimal. First, let's talk about service. Service is the act of putting the ball in play by hitting the ball behind the end line over the net towards the opponent's court. The most common type of service is the underhand service. Next is the overhead service, and for the skilled players, the jumping spike service. Your underhand service is done by holding the ball in the front at waist level, then releasing and hitting it with the wrist. While your overhead service is done by holding the ball overhead, then throwing it upward and hitting it with the base of the palm or the inside portion of the wrist. While the third one, your jumping spike service, is done by tossing the ball up high and jumping and hitting or spiking it hard. This kind of service is usually done by very skilled players. Passing, an act of passing the ball towards the teammate or the opponent's court. The first one is dig pass. Dig pass, usually done in handling the service of the opponent. A good reception will lead to a good set and attack. While our second one, the toss or set, is also known as the second contact, usually done by the team's tosser. A good and accurate toss will result to a good spike or hit. Spike, also known as the attack, the third and the final touch that is usually strong and sharp, making it difficult for the opposing team to defend their court. Your blocking skills. The blocking skill is a defensive skill used by front row players to block the opponent attack. This skill requires a lot of training. It involves leaping ability, timing, and body control. Take note that volleyball is a team sport that can be played by family members also. It is an activity that promotes physical fitness and bonding among family members and can be played in an open field, vacant lot, or even in the beach. So your team sports are particularly sports that wherein you can develop good relationship with your teammates. Especially at this moment when we are having our pandemic, you need to find your ways to do this. You can also use your team sports, specifically your volleyball, as your way of recreational activities and your ways to have your bonding with your family. So I think for today's lesson, volleyball lesson, first by skills and the first important informations you need to know about volleyball. And I think that would be all for today. Thank you and God bless.